I hosted a Women in Technology panel here at University of Virginia on November 9th of 2009. So it's about a month ago, and it was a very significant event for several reasons. But I have some kind of takeaways as somebody who was in the audience, but also as somebody who hosted the event. I know the first thing I have to say is that this event came about when I had a conversation with Sonia Donaldson, who is the technology editor-at-large at Black Enterprise Magazine. And I had the pleasure to meet her in the spring and just kind of pick her brain and hear what she was working on. And as she was telling me about all these exciting entrepreneurs, all these exciting things that were also going on in the social media space, I was sitting there thinking, like, we need to host something at the Darden School about this. That I need to, due to my role as a special director of programming, this needed to be something that develops into a program, and we need to bring these remarkable people here to Charlottesville. And she was like, yes. So we worked together on this, but the ideas driving this, the intellectual purview, and frankly even the network to get the speakers here, that's all Sonia Donaldson. So she's mostly responsible for the fact that this event happened. But one thing that I think anybody that attended learned right away is women in technology, they're out there. There's a bunch of them, right? That one has to be a little more careful when you stereotype a particular industry to be more gender-oriented, or to be gender-slanted one way or another, like it's all guys, or so we shouldn't even expect women to be there either on the panel or in the audience. That's just not true. And Sonia clearly is in that space, but she's connected to so many people. We brought in some wonderful speakers that were showing that not only are women playing a major role in the adoption and the dissemination of social media technologies, but they're certainly all primed up and ready to go to speak and speak with authority at technology conferences, whether those be social media technology conferences or any other sort of technology conferences. So that was a kind of a real eye-opener for a lot of people, including myself. And one of the things I think I also learned was just the strength of women's networks. Clearly, like I think most guys that were kind of smart enough to shut up and listen, learned that these women weren't sitting around or not sitting around waiting for guys to join the party, waiting for the invitation from the guys to come and join their clubs. They've got their own, they're deep, they're vast, they're very diverse, and very powerful. And I think women are being satisfied by these groups that really are more communities in ways that maybe guys can learn from. We probably look at Web 2.0 pretty instrumentally, pretty strategically, but maybe our interaction isn't quite as existential and as communal as at least the impression or intuition that I got from this panel. When we think about how women are using this technology, I would say one of the last takeaway I have, which is more about being the person that co-hosted this, I guess you would say, is as an African American man. Of course, I know what it's like to be to be a minority in America, and in a mainstream business school. There's no quantitatively, black men really are continue to be quite a deep minority, and because of that, one can assume that you know the experience of all other minorities. So I want to just reiterate that kind of a major takeaway for me was, even though there were 3 African American or women that have African American heritage that were on the panel. The black woman's experience is very different than mine as a black man. And so that though we're minorities, it was still important for me to recognize when to speak, but also recognize when to listen. And I learned a lot from that. And I hope to be learning like that again in the